Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Public Cloud Design Tips and Tricks. In this channel, we generally discuss about public cloud design problem statements and their related solutions. Today, we are going to discuss about one of the pillars in Azure Well Architecture framework known as Azure Performance Efficiency. Today's problem statements in public cloud era, how to enable your design to scale efficiently based on demand. To understand the problem statement in detail, let's try to understand what is scaling. Scaling means it is the capability or it is the ability to maintain efficiently your system and or your software as demand changes and technology evolve. You can think about an e-commerce system. The regular day, there are set of audience who are accessing this e-commerce system. Based on that, you have designed your e-commerce portal. But you didn't think about if there is a Friday sale is going on and there are a lot of discounts which is getting provided. There can be n number of users who is going to access your e-commerce portal. That is where you have to think about, you have to predict about what can be the number of instances or the number of services or the number of the way your infrastructure has to be designed so that it can cater the high number of requests, or it can scale based on the need. That means it can scale in, scale out, scale up, scale down. We are going to discuss about all these four types of scaling in detail, but that is where is known as the efficiency management. That means if you think about, you will think about only the Black Friday sale, and you have, you design your infrastructure with 20 virtual machines. And later on, after the Friday sales, that number of virtual machines are not at all needed for your e-commerce portal. Then in that case, it is a huge cost loss to your organization. And also, it is unnecessary usage of lot of hardware, which will also, give lot of complexity to your organization. That is where the efficiency is coming to a picture, known as performance efficiency. So it is nothing but a balance between your demand and your provisioning capacity. Now, what is performance efficiency in infrastructure? So it is the ability to use your compute resources or your databases or your network in an efficient way to meet system requirements and to maintain that efficiency as demand changes and technology evolves. That means you can think about systems where the systems have been hosted in on-premise area, and as the technology evolves, you are moving towards public cloud era, or artificial intelligence or machine learning environment. So based on the demand, based on the technology, you should be able to adopt that, and also you should be able to use it efficiently so that you will maintain the cost, you'll maintain the complexity, you'll handle the operational challenges. That is where the performance efficiency is coming to picture. Now, let's try to understand different types of scaling. There are two types of scaling you'll find in infrastructure world. One is vertical scaling, second is horizontal scaling. What is vertical scaling? Vertical scaling is the capability where your hardware remains the same, and above that particular hardware instance, you will up and down your number of vCPU or number of RAM or the volume of RAM that you will change. You can think about this example. In this virtual machine hardware, you have 2 vCPU and 4 GB RAM. And what you saw, you based on the metrics, based on the resource metrics, you found your vCPU is completely occupied, your RAM is completely occupied, and more requests are coming. In that case, what you have to do? You have to increase the vCPU capability. You have to increase the 4 GB RAM. So in the on-premise era, how does it work? Then again, hardware needs to be added, the configuration needs to be modified, but that is not happening in the public cloud era. When you enable the scaling up or scaling down rules in your virtual machine or your autoscale capabilities based on the monitoring metrics, based on your CPU utilization, based on your RAM utilization, you can scale up or down your virtual machine configuration. That means from 2 vCPU to 8 vCPU, 4 GB RAM to 6 GB RAM. That is the concept of vertical scaling. That means your instance is constant, but your configuration is changing. What is horizontal scaling? Horizontal scaling is opposite. That means the more number of requests is coming, you do not want to scale up or scale down based on your your configuration. Rather than you want to increase the number of instances and you load balance the request so that the request will be handled efficiently. And that is where a scale out or scale in is coming. That means it is horizontally scaling. It is not increasing up or down, rather than it is increasing in or increasing out. So you can see here in scaling in capability, when less number of requests are there, or less number of configurations, or the number of requests are coming, in that case you are scaling into two instances. But when there are more number of requests are coming and your one machine is unable to cater that, then in that case you are scaling out to four virtual machine so that you can cater the number of requests. That is what horizontal scaling. So the horizontal scaling is more towards adding number of instances. Vertical scaling is more towards adding the or increasing your configuration of your instances. Now, another type of autoscaling is known as predictive autoscaling. Predictive autoscaling is one of the beautiful feature in Azure world, where you can predict your autoscale users your autoscaling capabilities, or your Azure uses machine learning to help manage and scale virtual machine scale sets with cyclical workload patterns. That means based on the your machine learning capabilities, or based on the AI capabilities, it will predict, the system will predict your your scaling up or scaling out or scaling in or scaling out. That type of capabilities can be considered here. It also forecasts the overall CPU load on your virtual machine skill set based on historical CPU usage pattern. The skill set can then be scaled out in time to meet the predictive demand. That means you can think about, like in the morning time you are having your website which is getting hosted on your virtual machine, and during the morning time there are a lot of users who are hitting your virtual machines, or requests are coming to your virtual machine, whereas during the evening or during the night nobody is using it. So that is where the predictive auto scaling will find out a pattern and scale in or scale out based on the time, and it will handle it efficiently. That is the capability of predictive auto scaling. Now, if you think about autoscaling, there are multiple services which are getting supported within Azure world, especially virtual machines. It has the scale set capabilities, web apps feature with Azure app service capabilities, Azure API management services, Azure data explorer cluster, stream analytics, signal services, Azure machine learning, Spring apps, media services, service bus, logic app. These are all services which are supports autoscaling capabilities. That means if you enable autoscaling, then these services, based on the rule, based on the definition, they will scale in, scale out, or they will realize the autoscaling behavior. Now let's try to understand the autoscaling architectural aspect. So you can see here, when a resource generates a matrix, the and also the infrastructure based on the time, the autoscaling, the capabilities will define, you will define a rule based on the matrix data. The rule will be executed, and based on the rules an action will be created, and the action will be automated to your automation runbook in logic app, or functions trigger, or logic app, or third party URLs where you can do your necessary activities. That means scaling in, scaling out, or your request configuration. These are all things can be handled. So this is the base architectural aspect of auto scaling. We will try to cover the virtual machine skill set, app services, SQL database. These are all services we will individually cover in successive videos to deep dive into more details. Uh, the last one, the virtual machine skill sets, I will just give a quick brief here, and in the next video we will deep dive into all its capabilities. Azure uses the concept of virtual machine skill sets to handle the auto scaling, which scales up or down using telemetry data delivered directly from your Azure infrastructure by Azure diagnostic agents. So that means inside your virtual machine you will have a diagnostic agent which will which will uses the telemetry data which has been created by the diagnostic agent to auto scale up or scale down based on your skill sets. And these metrics are generally CPU utilization, memory utilization, number of threads, queue length, disk utilization. Based on these metrics, it will behave your virtual machine in an efficient way by the skill sets. We'll definitely cover this topic in more detail in the upcoming videos. But yeah, that's it for the autoscaling side. If you like the video, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel or share it with your friends. And also these links I will provide in this video description. Don't hesitate to go to the links and try to grab the information. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Thank you.